Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day, the channel that brings you your team daily for free, for nothing. Guys, we're not asking you to pay a monthly subscription. We're not asking you to pay for a channel. We're actually providing you all this for absolutely nothing. Nada, zero zilch. All you got to do, hit the sub, ring the bell, and you've got it all for free. Daily videos, podcasts, live streams, shorts, updates, anything, guys. And it's not just me. You also get for free my co-host, Miss Victoria Searle, all the way from Canada. So, what else could you ask for, guys? All for nothing. Right. Well, we've got an awful lot to get through this morning or this afternoon or even this evening, depending, obviously, when you are picking up this video. We've got, obviously, a little look back over the weekend, which I think we're all just feeling a little bit better now. Just a little bit better. It's paper talk as well. Some players linked with the move to Rangers as the speculation continues. It's obviously the 14th of August today. We still have a number of days before that window finally slams shut. Also, a little look back on performance of certain Mr. Rabbi Matondo on Saturday. A little bit back on Jose Cifuentes, and a bit of a featurette on Mr. John Souttar, who has been absolutely superb since pre-season, really. And just a little sort of a little taster for Tuesday ahead of tonight's podcast, where we will be obviously looking at the game coming up on Tuesday, the massive, huge, humongous Champions League Titanic qualifier, third round, second leg against Servette in the Stade de Genève in Switzerland. Bienvenue, Switzerland. Excellent. That's not how you say it. That's just my awful French. Do apologize. Anyway, well, I think we're all feeling just a little bit better after the weekend, aren't we? A 4-0 victory, a game, as Michael Beale said himself, could be split into three distinct parts. There was the opening, the whirlwind opening and the goal from Lammers, and then Cifuentes scores and it's goals chalked off, and it kind of just goes a bit lull after that. 45 minutes onwards in the second half, Livy come back into it. Martindale's got his team fired up and they get some decent chances. Jack Butland pulls off a couple of great saves. John Souttar, who's been, like I said, amazing, gets a little last-ditch tackle in to deny them. And then from 78 minutes, we suddenly blow them away with a superb performance. First goal at Ibrox for Danilo, a flicked header from a superb delivery from Borna Barisic. Is it this the second coming of Borna Barisic? Could be. Or is it just two good games against two average teams? I don't know. But is it the second coming? Let's be optimistic. Let's hope it's the second coming of Mr. Borna Barisic. Third goal then comes Abdallah Sima, right place, right time to lash home from a scramble to get his first goal for the club before, for me, the pick of the goals. Now, I was flicking through Instagram earlier and I saw it, this goal from behind. It looked awesome. Kieran Dowell starts the move off, plays it to Matondo. Matondo goes at the defence, dribbles past some speed, lays it off to Kieran Dowell, who smashes it into the back of the net. And you know what? Even if he wanted to, he could have rolled it across to Danilo for a tap-in. So, hey, happy days, happy days. A great performance. Which I can show you the goals, but obviously we are copyright bounded on this channel, so we have to be very careful. But a good performance, a performance of progress. I think that's the key thing. You know what? It's starting to gel a little bit more. That last few, that last 12 minutes on Saturday, it really did seem like there was a bit more of a understanding, a symbiotic understanding of the players. They kind of linked a little bit better. They looked a bit more fluid. They looked a bit better going forward for me. They just seemed just to be getting it, and I think that's obviously something that with time is only going to get better and very promising for the season ahead. But hey, contrast that to this time last week when we were all down in the dumps and dreading the game against Servette. It's a roller coaster, isn't it? It is a roller coaster. Ever since I jumped on the roller coaster back in 86, 87, it's been up, it's been down, it's been round and round, it's looped the loop. I've nearly thrown up a few times and it's been upside down, and it could have all gone wrong, but it's come through. And, let's hope it continues in the right way and continues to excite us in a positive way. But a good performance nonetheless on Saturday. Obviously, Jose Cifuentes made his competitive debut for the club, and I thought he looked really good on Saturday. Energy, box-to-box enthusiasm, eye for a pass, a man who wins one-to-ones, a real Rangers-type player, someone who I think, is going to have a big future at this club. He really does look like the complete player. Looks like we've got a bit of a steal, actually. I know we could have gotten for nothing in January, but even paying $1 million, $1.5 million for a player that, like I said, at the peak of his value was 12, 13 million, I think is a bargain. The guy's superb. He gets you off your seats. He He fights for the shirt. He looks a great player. And no doubt at the end of the game, that lashing down rain must have come a bit of a shock to the Ecuadorians. You don't get a lot of that in Ecuador, and you don't get a lot of that in LA. So a bit of a shock. But altogether, though, he was superb. And I think he's got to start on Tuesday. I think he could be the difference, to be honest with you. You know, Servette are going to sit deep, and then they're going to hit us on the break and try and play more direct and be physical. And his presence, I think his physicality, his ability to bring some energy to that midfield could be absolutely vital on Tuesday against Servette. So for me, Cifuentes is a key man, absolute key man. I think him and Raskin are going to form a formidable midfield partnership, along with a possible, obviously, formidable midfield trio when you add in Mr. Todd Cantwell, who again on Saturday I thought was absolutely superb. There's very few of the players that did not play well Saturday. I think, you know, obviously Dessers is still not fit, still needs time to get himself up to full match sharpness before we really judge him. I know I've had some bad words to say about him, but I hope he does obviously prove me very wrong, because after all, he is a Rangers player, and we get behind Rangers players when they're on the park. Even John Lundstrom, who has, you know, the odd dodgy moment. And even he got on Saturday and was okay when he came on, but overall, you know, a very good performance. I thought Leon Balogun as well was very good on Saturday. I thought he was quick. He tackled well. He was solid alongside John Souttar. Very promising indeed to have Leon back, and I think Leon did exceptionally well. So hats off to Leon as well. Obviously, we are building up towards that game on Tuesday. Now, someone obviously who really did stand out on Saturday, and it seems weird saying this when obviously you score 4 goals and it seems like a bit of a drubbing, which it wasn't in the end, was John Souttar, the unstoppable, the undroppable Mr. John Souttar. You know what? It does seem, doesn't it, since he's got his fitness back, since he seems to have cleared up whatever it is that kind of was holding him back. And look, I don't want to tempt fate. Touching wood, guys, touching wood. John Souttar has been outstanding. Outstanding in pre-season, outstanding in the first 2 to 3 games of this season. You know, yes, he had that mistake against Kilmarnock, but other than that, he was fairly solid at the back. And it's not just his tackling that impresses, is it, you know, John? It's his ability to read the game. It's his ability to step out with the ball. And it's how he steps out and brings the ball out and, you know, draws out that centre forward and then goes past him and draws the midfield to him and creates space with the way he plays. You know, John Souttar for me is just a fantastic central defender. If he continues as he is, I think, you know, many people are claiming that he is currently the best central defender in Scotland, the best Scottish central defender in world football. And look, if he continues the way he does, if he continues to perform the way he does, then I can't see why not. He really is outstanding. He has been just absolutely brilliant. Like I said, he reads the game, he steps out, he's solid at the back. And to be fair, you know, he could have been man of the match in the last 2 games against both Servette and against, obviously, Livingston on Saturday. Souttar, for me, is really wearing that shirt with pride, fighting for the shirt. And I think, you know, even could be a future Rangers captain with the way he plays. He really does lead by example. And you know what? At one point, you were say Connor Goldson is the undroppable, unstoppable, isn't he? But now I think it's definitely John Souttar who is the undroppable, unstoppable central defender, the man we cannot ever afford to be without. And certainly someone who I think, you know, for a long time to come will be a fundamental part of this Rangers defense if we can obviously hang on to him and no big bids come in from in the long run. But I am just phenomenally impressed with this man, and Saturday's performance was particularly good from John Souttar. Guys, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on Big John. Let me know in the comments below. How do you think he's been performing? What are your hopes for him for this season? And you know, where do you see him ranking in the SPFL in terms of central defenders? I know you've got Carthorse Vickers across the Carthorse Knickers across the city, but you know, at the end of the day, for me, Souttar is twice the defender he is. He is absolute quality, John Souttar, and someone I really, really rate. Now, there's been a bit of, obviously, well, look, not everyone, some people, that's better, some people were gutted when they saw Mr. Fashion Sakala leave the club. And Fashion scored on his debut, apparently, in Saudi. So well done, Fashion. He seriously is, you know, blowing it up out there. That's the right thing to say. But, you know, Sakala, some fans really were sad to see him go. And a lot of fans wanted him to stay ahead of a certain other quick Welsh winger, Mr. Rabbi Matondo. Now, Rabbi Matondo is someone who has come in for an awful lot of stick since joining Rangers, not only for the fact that Ross Wilson paid £3.5 million for him, but also the fact that he is reporting on about £28,000 a week, although we don't know what he's exactly on because none of the Rangers' salaries are easily accessible. There's a lot of supposition, a lot of rumour around what he's on, and I think that's part of the reason why he gets condemned and really talked down about. And Rabbi's been injured a lot since he's come in, and you know, pre-season last year we watched him against West Ham and we thought, wow, what a world beater we've got here in Rabbi Matondo. What a superstar we have in this man. And then he kind of didn't do it and then got injured, and then when he came back from injury, he wasn't quite the same player, and then looked okay and then looked terrible and was very mixed, and you know, didn't play well at all. But look, the thing that, you know, the point you got to make is, look, I know one swallow does not a summer make, and it was only Livingston, but he did play exceptionally well on Saturday. He provided Rangers with something they were missing: width, speed, the ability to really go at players, dribble past them, take them on. You know, that, what was it Michael Beale said in his press conference, the Ryan Kent type player. There's another name from the past that will cause Rangers fans into a bit of a, either half of them going, oh, Ryan, I miss him, and half of them going, glad he's gone. You know, so Matondo played really well. And look, something fans have been crying out for is that plan B, that width to the game. And Rabbi could provide that. Now, I know Rabbi can't play on Tuesday. He's not on the European squad. He was injured before the squad was named. That's why him and obviously Tom Lawrence and Kemar Roof were not named in that European squad due to injury. And obviously Ben Davis as well. But, you know, Rabbi Matondo looks very good on Saturday. You know, his stats for the game were particularly good. I can't off the top of my head what they were now, but his 90% pass accuracy. You know, he set up Kieran Dowell's goal. He looked quick, he looked speedy, he looked tricky. You know, if that's something we can continue to foster in him in the league in particular, that's going to stand us in good stead. That gives us another plan to get past that low block, doesn't it? You know, give it out to Rabbi, let him go at their defence and get past them. And, you know, seemed that Sima and Matondo are getting balls into the box, something that, you know, Rangers hadn't done previously, and it seemed to be very effective against a usually well-organised Livingston team. So, look, I think he deserves some credit, Rabbi Matondo, for first Saturday. He really does. And look, can he be an option the rest of the season? I think he possibly could, you know, even though some fans were looking at shipping him out. But has he started to prove people wrong? Maybe. Remember, it did take Borna Barisic back in the day a good few games to show that he was a quality left back when he was. I know now he's again splitting opinion, but certainly, you know, Rabbi Matondo did very well Saturday. Okay, so let's look ahead to Tuesday's game. Just a little taster. This is the lineup that I would go with on Tuesday if I was picking the team. And like I said before, you might look at this team and go, thank God, Owen, you are not picking the team. So here's my team. Back, obviously, Jack Butland picked himself, been quality since he's come in. Looked brilliant on Saturday again. Some good stops. Clean sheet for him will do him the world of good. It's done really, really well since he's come in. I think the back four pretty much picks itself. See, Barisic and Tav will start at fullbacks. I don't think there's any chance we're going to see Dujon Sterling there. Ridvan he's not back and available yet. I don't think he'll be back to the Greenock game. So that's going to be the way it lines up. Goldson, I think, will come back in for Balogun. I think that was the reason he didn't play Saturday, was to give him a rest. I mean, the guy's played, what, 2 games, 2 competitive games in 7 days after missing 3.5 months and not kicking a ball in anger. So, you know, I think Connor will be back. I think in what is a very important tie, you're going to need your communicator, your leader at the back there, and I think he will be back. John Souttar obviously picks himself. I think he's the second name on the team sheet after Todd Cantwell these days. Now, I would go with a slightly different shape in terms of the number, slightly different collection of players, shall we say, rather than shape. I would start with Jack. I think Ryan Jack has to play. Jack, as we saw in that first leg, he was fantastic in that first leg. He really was. And he does the dirty work. He does the donkey work. He sits in front of the back four. He shields them. He drops in for Tav. He drops in for Borna. He covers. He drops back into the back two. He covers that and he shields, and he makes those midfielders have more confidence. They can just go forward and support the attackers because they know he is back there. And that's why Ryan has to play for me. And I think, you know, like a lot of people have been saying, we're going to have to pick and choose Ryan's games this season. And Ryan has to play in the big games. And this certainly is a big game. Raskin and Cifuentes have to start as well. I think, you know, Cifuentes, after his performance Saturday, showed what a vital part of this team he's going to become. And I think, you know, as I described earlier, his emphasis on positivity, getting forward, his eye for a shot, his box to box, his passing ability, I think will be something that will be very important on Tuesday. Raskin, again, I think probably got the third name on the team sheet, has to play. Now, I'd play Cantwell in final front two, therefore giving Todd Cantwell even more freedom to go and influence the game. He really did cause them a lot of problems at Ibrox, and I think he'll draw a lot of their attention, perhaps not always in a clean way as well. on Tuesday. So I would give him that freedom to go where he wants behind the front two. I think Danilo looked very good on Saturday when Dessers went off with it, and he looked sort of more central, more effective. With Dessers not been fully fit, I don't think we can afford to take a risk in this game. So for me, Danilo and Lammers have to start goal scorers. Both of them, I think, coming back into, obviously Danilo, I think, was in form. Lammers is starting to settle in a bit better now. That for me would be the starting lineup. It then gives you obviously the option to bring on the likes of Dessers from the bench, Hadji from the bench. I think it just gives you more options. Right, guys, let me know in the comments, what team would you play? How would you line up? And would you just go with the same team as Saturday? What would you do? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's finish off with a little bit of paper talk. Let's finish off with a little bit of speculation, gossip, and rumour about Rangers. Now, two players who have been linked in the media with a move to Ibrox are this young man here from Bristol City of the English Championship. Bristol City, who have produced some excellent young players just recently. For example, Alex Scott, who was one of their most talented players, has just recently joined Bournemouth in the English Premier League for reportedly £25 million. Zach Viner apparently is considered a Rangers target after his boss Nigel Pearson dropped hints at the weekend. Zach Viner is on Rangers' shopping list apparently and on the transfer radar as he moves into the final year of his contract. Zach Viner is 26 years old. And with 12 months just to go, it felt that he could really actually be available for a lot cheaper than he first would have been. He is a central defender and has been a key part of Bristol City's team. And he does look very good. I've actually seen him play live. He is a very, very good player. Now, apparently Rangers, according to the media this morning, it's been reported, are preparing a bid to test Bristol City's reserve. Now, according to the media as well, Luton Town, yes, the pub team that's in the Premiership, and Southampton are also said to be interested in Viner as well. Viner has previously played in Scotland as well. He spent time on loan at Aberdeen in 2019. And with the fact that he refused to sign a new contract this summer, and Nigel Pearson saying players who refuse to sign new deals will be sold if they've only got a year left on their deal, has dropped an even bigger hint that he could be available. Pearson was asked for news about Viner after Bristol City's game and when they beat Millwall the weekend. He said, any news on Viner? And Pearson answered, not at the moment. He said, we've talked about it, but there's nothing further to add. We'd like to extend it. There's been one or two conversations, but he's a player we should be looking to extend. But at the moment, he has refused any contracts. Now, Michael Beale is reportedly looking for a central defender, and Zach Viner is someone who could well interest him. 26 years old, so still young, still got a decent few years left in him. Quick, reads the game well, aggressive. He's 6'2". He is a good player. He's had loan spells at Accrington Stanley, Plymouth, Rotherham and Aberdeen. He's 16 appearances at Aberdeen, scoring 1 goal. With Bristol City, he's had 120 appearances, scoring 3 goals. So certainly someone who is reportedly interesting Rangers and could well be on their transfer radar. And if he is, I would welcome that. We do need a central defender. I think Viner is a very good player. I've seen him play, like I said, and he is a quality centre half. Obviously, he's the second centre half linked with a move to Rangers, the other one being Jake Cooper from Millwall, someone else I would love to see at the club. So 2 good centre half links, apparently, according to the media. Final link I want to talk to you about is this man here, someone who has previously been, not him, he's already been talked about, someone else who's previously been linked with a move to Rangers is Ross Stewart. Now, Ross Stewart has 12 months to run on his contract, but is currently out with an Achilles tendon injury, a serious injury he got back in January against Fulham in the FA Cup. Sunderland fans apparently are upset that he has reportedly turned down a new contract after it was not to his liking. Now, the there are rumours in the media that Michael Beale still wants to add to his front line, and that Ross Stewart could well be someone that could interest him. Stewart is a out-and-out goal scorer, someone who will get you 20, 25 goals every single season. There is obviously the downside to Ross is his injury record. He does have a pretty bad injury record at Sunderland. He only played 13 championship games, although he did score 10 goals in those 13 games. If you look at, you look back at his career, he started his career at Albion Rovers. He also played for St Mirren, Alloa, Ross County. He had 28 goals and 82 appearances for Ross County. And since joining Sunderland, he has scored 40 goals in 81 appearances, nearly 1 in 2 for the Wearside club. So, he's certainly someone who appears to still be interesting Rangers. Personally, I don't think we need him. I think we've got enough centre forwards now. I think it's also a huge risk with Stewart. He is someone who is repeatedly injured. It's an awful lot to gamble. He's 27 years old. Is he the sort of player you want to be gambling money on? He's going to want a big contract, and also the fact that if it is that that one of these centre forwards doesn't work out, the likelihood is Stewart won't move on in the summer anyway, because clubs are still obviously worried about his injury. There's a chance he comes back at the end of September. If he does, scores goals, looks good, that he can be picked up in January for a cheaper fee, because let's face it, he's out of contract in the summer. And if clubs don't want to buy him in January, then he's going to be available for free in the summer. So I think it would be one wisely not to touch for the moment. But it does seem to be a link that does reportedly come up time and time again. Well, guys, like I said, let me know what you think of those transfer links to Vyner and Stewart. Vyner, I would certainly be very interested in. Stewart, not so much at this moment in time. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, please hit the sub if you've liked the content. It does help us to grow the channel. We're over 3,000 subs now. Fantastic. We will be celebrating that on the pod later. But we want to keep growing. We want to keep developing. We want to be one of the biggest Rangers channels out there to keep bringing you the content. Look, guys, if we can grow this channel to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 subscribers and get a regular 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views per video, that's a job that I can start to do this full time and really bring you all the content, get access to our Rangers as well, media access, and hopefully bring you even better quality content than we're currently doing at this moment in time. As always, I need you to do 2 things for me, guys. Number 1, smash that like. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.